I'm aware that many of you have expressed a desire for online counseling, and to that effect, we have a sponsor who will help you and assist you in that respect. So if you will, go beneath the video, you'll find a link to our online counseling sponsor. They have a whole team of counselors that can help you. Practice self-care, get the help that you need. During my 40 plus years in the practice of counseling, which means I'm old, I've done a lot of work in the field of anger management. I've done individual counseling with individuals who are trying to get beyond their anger. And of course, I've done workshops and seminars and written books on the topic. And one of the things that I hear is individuals saying, I need to get on top of my anger. But then sometimes they can say it in something of a broad and general kind of way. And one of the things I want to do is I want to get specific. When you say you want to get on top of your anger, what does that mean? What do you need to get on top of? Now, let's keep in mind when I talk about issues with anger, it's more than just people who are shouting and screaming and slamming doors, although that, of course, is anger. But it also involves just the undertow that we can carry of frustration and tension and agitation and impatience and irritability. All of that is part of your anger dimension. And we need to ask, well, if I need to go away from that anger pattern, what is it that I want to move toward? Now, I want to highlight multiple elements that tend to be a part of unhealthy anger. And let's see if we can zero in on what those ingredients do in terms of keeping you inside that anger trap. And then I want to see if we can identify the much cleaner alternative. So let's kind of get right through it. When people have issues with anger, first and foremost, you tend to find that they operate with a forceful style of engagement toward other individuals. Notice that when people are angry, they can go easily into the stubborn mode. They can be coercive, pleading, insistent. If we're going to move away from anger, we need to lay aside that forcefulness and go into simple explanations. Can you just be the kind of person that says, here's what I desire, here are my needs, I'm going to explain things to you real clearly, and then I'm going to give you the space to absorb what I'm saying in your own terms. Angry people have a hard time doing that, but explanations are going to carry you much more further down the road towards healthiness than any form of forcefulness. A second element that kind of goes right along with it that tends to be very strongly embedded in the angry individual is the attempts to be in control. Angry individuals tend to have a strong agenda. Now, we can obviously talk about that with the openly aggressively angry person, or also with the passive aggressive person. There's a certain way things are supposed to be. And as long as I can get you inside my grooves, then I'm going to be happy. And that's the control mindset. What if you decided I'm going to get away from my anger, and instead of trying to control people, I'm going to acknowledge the better alternative of freedom? In other words, I recognize from the inside out, every person has the privilege to choose for himself or herself who they're going to be. And I'm going to speak in such a way that allows that freedom to be there. There's an old ditty that says, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. When you try to control other individuals and make them stay inside your grooves, they're not going to change. You want to speak in such a way, notice my tone of voice, that says, I'm going to share with you who I am, but I want you to choose who you're going to be, and let's talk about what my thoughts are and your thoughts are, and see if we can find some good middle ground solutions. That's difficult for angry people, but we want to drop that ingredient of control. Another characteristic that tends to accompany unhealthy anger is the characteristic of raw selfishness. Sometimes anger can be good, but many times people have such an attitude that says, hey, look, it's all about me in this moment. I'm consumed with whatever it is on my agenda, and I don't really care about you. What if we were to drop that sense of selfishness and go towards self-preservation? It's okay to say I want to stand up for who I am, and I want to preserve my convictions, or I want to speak straight into my needs. But at the same time, you have your needs too. I'm going to preserve me, but I want to honor who you are. And in doing so, that leaves open the possibility there can be a collaborative aspect to the way that you manage anger. Another characteristic that tends to go along with the angry individual is they tend to be highly defensive. They tend to have a real thick shield around themselves. Angry people want to dictate to you what you're supposed to be, but then when you say, well, there's some things that I'd like to discuss in reverse, that angry person's like, oh no, you don't get to talk about me and who I am. Well, wait a minute. What if we were to drop that defensiveness and move toward open-mindedness? Instead of managing anger with that thick shield, we can say, there's some things I want to discuss about you, and I'm sure you have some thoughts that you would like to talk about regarding me. I'm open to whatever you have to say. Many angry individuals have a difficult time doing that, but if we're going towards healthiness, we want to focus on that open-mindedness. How about another characteristic? Angry individuals tend not to be very respectful. They operate often with a strong disrespectful style. They can be very mean in the way that they manage you. They can be name-calling, they can be shaming and blaming, and they can speak in all sorts of ways that are derogatory, disrespect. They don't honor your worth whatsoever. Whereas if you're trying to get away from anger, you want to also remind yourself, I can have my angry emotions, but I also want to carry along with it a sense of dignity and respect and honor and worth. Respect means that you acknowledge the worth of another individual, even if they may not be acting in a worthy way in the moment. You can still speak in a way where everybody gets to walk away with their dignity still intact. That's a real strong skill that you could use. Or how about another one? When people go into their anger mode, they tend to be very fear-based. It's like, I really hate it when you act in this way towards me, and I don't know what to do with it. It scares me to think that you're going to be rejecting of me, or you're going to be invalidating toward me. And much of their offensive anger comes from that sense that says, I'm afraid of what you're going to bring to my equation. What about if you drop that sense of fear and say, I need to learn how to trust in myself. Rather than having this fear of differences, I'm going to go ahead and stand on who I am, and I'm going to present my principles, but I'm not afraid of other individuals' responses. And that way it allows you to have a more calm and steady kind of mindset. Another ingredient that tends to go along with anger is intolerance. It's like, I can't stand how you do things. You don't do things the way I do. And I think you're way out of bounds with your values or your preferences or your beliefs. How about if we were to approach anger with an attitude of tolerance? And we can start by saying, I know that you and I differ. I get it. And rather than thinking that I'm just not going to deal with anybody who's too different from me, we can make room for the fact that people have different preferences or beliefs or patterns, and we can still discuss ways that we can honor one another, knowing that some of those differences are going to remain. And then how about a last one? When people go into the anger mode, they tend to operate with an attitude of superiority. There's a lot of condescension that tends to be a part of the way that they engage with you. The healthy individual says, I don't want to condescend. Even if I'm angry, I still want to have an attitude of equality. I know that you have your needs, I have my needs, and our needs are valid to each of us. Let's operate with the understanding that we each get to have the feelings and the thoughts and the perspectives that we do. Now, I'm under no illusion that as you try to manage your anger cleanly, that other individual in front of you is also going to do the same thing. But the odds do go up when you try to manage your anger with these healthier alternatives in mind. Anger has so many different subcategories underneath, as you can see with what I'm identifying. There are a lot of ingredients that go into the making of anger, but then there are a lot of ingredients that can go into the making of clean anger. So what are you going to do with your anger? Well, I'm hoping first and foremost, you can have an internal perspective that says, There are all sorts of things that I carry on the inside of me that I need to put a check on. And then as I'm able to see the negative qualities that tend to glom onto anger and then opt for the cleaner alternatives, that's when I'm going to be more inclined towards managing it in a way that's going to be successful. So I hope this gives you some food for thought. And I hope that you can be the kind of person that says, I want to be the person that when the anger comes along, and notice I say when, not if, I'm going to handle it cleanly. And in doing so, it positions you to be a person who has a higher potential for relational success. And I hope videos such as this give you some good food for thought. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey with you. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button. And for our Dr. Les Carter channel, you already have my Surviving Narcissism channel. In addition, it may be that you'll decide, I need some help trying to figure all of this out, whether it's your anger or the anger of other individuals you're trying to come to terms with. And if you need a professional counselor to help you, then I would encourage you to make yourself available to that. Or if you would prefer, we have a sponsor for online counseling. We have a link below here that includes a team of licensed professional counselors with experience, and I've had good feedback. And so if you would want to utilize the online counseling with our sponsor, then I would encourage you to go through that tab. In addition, we have my online courses, webinars, my books, The Anger Trap, and then also When Pleasing You is Killing Me. So make yourself available to the resources. Anger is one of those emotions that really gives us a good gauge about the person's level of psychological maturity. I hope that you can have enough wisdom and insight so that in those moments when anger is there, you're going to manage it in a way that says, watch how I can do things. Let's do it in a healthy kind of way. And in doing so, it positions you to be a person of healthy influence.